The hearing sessions can seem like the main part of a local plan examination. They are certainly the most outwardly visible, but an important point about hearing sessions is that they usually follow a large amount of work undertaken by the council to prepare the plan and by inspectors to familiarise themselves with all the issues linked to the soundness of it, gather any written statements they think are needed, and consider those responses. So from the inspector's perspective, the hearing sessions are about addressing the remaining issues that warrant a verbal discussion. They are also about hearing from any parties who have a legal right to speak. The inspector's role is to hear what everybody has to say and to be impartial. At times during the sessions, it is normal for inspectors to express views about where changes to a plan might be needed to make it sound. This is usually done to allow for wider discussion, but will then be subject to further consideration by the inspector. By law, you'll have a legal right to appear at a hearing if you made a comment on the final draft of the plan. This is otherwise known as a Regulation 19 response. Your comment must also be an objection to the plan and ask for a change to be made to it. Given the size and purpose of the hearing sessions, participation in them is usually limited to those who have a legal right to speak and the council. As the inspector's guidance notes will set out the arrangements for specific examinations, they should be the first point of reference. The guidance notes will also usually set out how to register an interest in speaking at a hearing and also the deadline for doing so. It is important to say that you don't have to exercise your right to speak if you don't want to. Any comments you made on the final draft will still be considered by the inspector, alongside comments made by other people that include those in support of the plan. So you have a right to speak at the hearing and have registered your interest. How might you go about preparing and what should you expect? The format of each hearing session will be a structured discussion led by the inspector. Each session will consider a specific issue that will be related to the matters, issues and questions that they have previously circulated and will be available on the examination website. The session may also follow an agenda circulated by the inspector beforehand. For an average local plan, there might be around 10 to 15 days of hearing sessions. If your interest is only in one part of it, then you will only be asked to attend for that session. The sessions will take place in a room arranged by the council, or in some cases virtually by video conference. If the sessions are to be held by video conference, then there would usually be separate guidance telling you how to join and take part. At each session, there could be anything from 2 to around 30 participants. They could last a number of hours with breaks at times determined by the inspector. There may also be people observing from a public gallery who will not be speaking. The council will take part in all the sessions. The hearing sessions are formal events and can appear quite daunting. Nerves are to be expected, especially if you have not taken part in one before. At the hearing session, it is part of the inspector's job to make sure you have the opportunity to speak and they want to hear what you have to say. If there is anything that you think may restrict your ability to take part, then please raise that at the earliest opportunity with the programme officer. Whether that's something to do with the accessibility of the building, the room layout, or where you are sat within it. When preparing for the hearing sessions, try to work out beforehand what it is you want to say to the inspector. What are the key points you want to get across that you don't want to leave the hearing session not having made? You might want to consider having a checklist of your key points to cover on the day. The temptation to pre-prepare large amounts of written text is understandable. I wouldn't discourage this if it helps you feel more confident. However, please remember that hearing sessions can be quite free-flowing discussions on specific points, so pre-prepared text may not always give you the best chance to make the point you want to make in a way that fits the context of the discussion. I'd also stress that reading out a document that has already been submitted in writing is not necessary or a good use of limited hearing session time, and the inspector may not allow it. When making a point, it is important to be succinct and express yourself in a way that gets directly to the heart of your concerns. The inspector needs enough information to understand the point that is being put across, but too much information can cloud the clarity of your argument. At the session, please remember that you are there to say what you think about the plan. You should come prepared to explain your views, the reasons for them, and what you would like to see changed. The inspector won't expect members of the public to be experts in town planning, and using plain English is better than technical terminology. Also remember that you are not on show or being tested, and you won't be cross-examined on your views. The inspector may have some questions, but these are designed to make sure they fully understand the points you wish to make.